Alrighty, welcome to I Screen, You Screen for movies for Monday, August 7th. Fuck it, it's a raw feed. We're doing it live. I'm Danny, and today we are covering Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, and I have a welcoming new guest on my show, and haven't seen him in a long time, but then I figured he's that type of guy to have on my show. He's all about the movies. He's all about, I can go on and on, but I don't want to keep this ramble. But everybody, if you're watching this through YouTube, you probably may not recognize him. But if you're listening through the podcast audio, I will introduce you to Pascal himself, known as Pac, respective from YouTube. Welcome to the show, Pac.
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. It's an honor to have you, and long time no see since we met up at Smash Local once. So it's been a while, but glad to have you on board for the show for sure.
Absolutely.
So, tell the audiences about yourself and what you do, just
sure.
before we get started.
I'm Pascal. I go by Pac on the interwebs. I have a small YouTube channel called Pac's Perspective. I like to talk about movies and stuff like that. Occasionally video games, very occasionally. I think I'm going to try to do more gaming reviews and different stuff. But yeah, I've been doing this for a couple of years. Just like if I watch a movie, I usually have some thoughts about it. So I just try to post a video when I can. And yeah. That's
all
me.
Right. Yep. All right. So as we're about to unfold this episode, we are finally covering Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a film that it's been like in the waters for a while, and now it's finally out. So
Yeah.
this is a good thing. The IP is back because there hasn't been a movie of it since the Michael Bay produced ones. The last one was called Out of the Shadows.
Yeah.
And one was the first one, I can tell it was like only a success, good film, and then the other may be better, but it did flop because no one liked the first one. But now Paramount's going back to the here's the thing. I think it's better animation. This is the way to go. I mean, live action is not terrible, but the thing is, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen I haven't seen those movies, but technically, I feel a lot to how live actions work with the stuff. But honestly, animation's the way to go for the IP. So Turtles is back with the IP, and it's Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse influence. So This is interesting what Paramount's taking on this route, and it's produced by Seth Rogen. I never thought he can do it, but I thought he'd be directing this too, but then he is the producer and voice of this movie. So
For sure.
all right, but let's go ahead and give our quick thoughts. So what is your quick thoughts of this movie, Pascal, before we get into this?
My quick thoughts is it was a good time. I said in my personal review that I think it was slightly for the younger crowd, but there's still like a lot of heart in it. There's still a lot of love for the IP, which you love to see. And I think this would be a good time at the movies, especially for families.
I totally agree. I agree with that. So this movie is actually great for, like you said, new generations, younger crowds. So, and technically, this is if you're a TMNT fan, you are going to see this very differently because they have a lot of things that is like, wow. And it's like, what Seth Rogen did with this writing and like what the movie filmmakers did with this film seems so different to what anyone thought. And it has the touching moment of coming age, too, about how these turtles grew up. And I just like the plot of this overall. It's like the humans viewed the mutants, like the turtles, as threats, but then they have like such moments where they can just like prove the world that there aren't such threats. But I don't want to go on this on and on, but the touching coming age story was the goodest part I ever thought they did, and it completely satisfied me. I was enjoying this every way of that. So
Absolutely, because that coming of age angle is like a new perspective. Like we don't really see the Ninja Turtles do stories where it's like, okay, what if we were just like normal kids? And what if we wanted to have like normal kid problems, like talking to a girl or fitting in high school and things like that? And that's like what the Turtles kind of aspire to in this version. That was really interesting.
yeah, I like the story of that. That's for sure. So like I said, this is like the animation. I like to go and say it. The animation is like the Cross the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, what they did. And it's becoming a trend nowadays. And since DreamWorks has done this too.
Yeah.
So I used to be those people, believe it or not. I never liked this animation a lot. And so I watched Puss in Boots. And I'm like, I'm so used to this because I'm definitely watching Cross Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And it was really enjoyable. I still got used to the animation. It's not nearly top tier animation as like Spider-Verse had. Right. But I thought it was great for a turtle movie. It's really great.
I agree. We definitely got to give Puss in Boots Lash Wish a shout out right there.
Oh
That
yeah, we gotta
movie is
shout it out there for sure.
incredible. Like,
Incredible.
not just from an animation side, like just the storytelling and how they just kind of took this side character and gave him so much heart. And so I could go on for an hour about Puss in Boots alone. So just a quick shout out on that movie. One of
My friend, I have a friend who loves Puss in Boots, so I guess I'll mention him about that for sure. But other than that, yeah, we love this movie for sure. Everyone loves that. Did really great in the holidays, especially against Avatar. It's very interesting.
right,
Great
yeah.
counterfeit on that.
But it was in. I imagine it did like reasonably well at the box office. I could look up how much it made, but like it was
Yeah,
in theaters for like
yeah,
a good. It had a good run.
it had a great
You
run,
know?
even against James Cameron. Wow, what a counterfeit to do well. I just figured to do just decent. Because, like, any kids can go see The World of Puss in Boots, A Far, Far Away Land, or Avatar. But I
Oh,
don't
it
want to go
made
on
its
and on
budget
about
back.
this.
I
Yeah, it
just
made its budget back well, and it's in the
yeah,
top 10s grossing as of last year, so good on
absolutely.
DreamWorks and Universal for that.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It had a 90 to 110 million dollar budget and it made 484 million. So it did well against its
They really
budget.
did grow. And the
Like,
budget for this for Turtles is actually around 70, so that's not bad.
right.
They kept the budget very low, so it's going to make its budget very well easily. So
Absolutely.
what we're witnessing, this movie, especially, it got fourth place at the box office this year. I mean, this week. It lost to The Trench. I mean, Meg to The Trench, my bad.
Mm.
Oppenheimer and Barbie. But it's because, I guess, I don't know, people were sleeping on this movie, but that's a good thing. Because just like Puss in Boots was slept, people are going to be wrong about this movie and are going to carry this movie to its depth. So I think it's going to be very good for this film. It's the Puss in Boots situation that people don't pay attention to. And then Turtles comes around, and then it's going to feel very great for the month of August. August is one of those months that isn't very crowded. So I think Turtles will do very good for this month. So
I
definitely for
agree.
that.
I think the word of mouth is going to be pretty strong on this one, and that's
Cinema
like
score got an A too. Yes.
yeah. I think the word of mouth is going to help the box office a good amount. I mean, it's been, as we've seen, because of Barbenheimer, it's been tough to release your
Honestly.
your movie in like this summer, July to
Well,
August
let's give
time.
Paramount something real quick. They should have put this Mission Impossible in a week before Barbenheimer. That was a bad idea. That was a bad idea on their part, honestly. And it's not Tom Cruise's fault, but Paramount doesn't realize how powerful the marketing of that movies were. So they just really lost there.
I still need to see Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. I'm a huge fan of the franchise.
I'll tell you this: it's not Grey's Maverick, that's for sure. I do
Okay.
enjoy it. It's just not Grey's Maverick. My expectations was it's not going to be as Maverick. So,
Sure. Well, Maverick made like $1 billion, right?
oh yeah, totally.
That was a good as hell movie. That
All
movie
right,
was really
but speaking of good at hell, I think we need to get back on track. Sorry about that to the listeners. Fuck it, it's a raw feed. So we love the Turtles movie, and I think it's gonna carry. That's what we're talking about. The success of this movie. The legs are gonna be good for this movie. Younger crowds, the TMNT fans are gonna come out. For the new generations, though, they're gonna be surprised how great this movie is. Great reviews, great word of mouth, cinema score. It's gonna do great. So we podcasters are telling you, go see this movie. It's not gonna prove you wrong. It's gonna prove you wrong in every way. That you're not gonna look at this like saying, it's just an anime movie. Who gives a shit? But no, I'm telling you, it's not to be slept on. I promise you. I was great. Like the whole crowds were laughing at some of the parts of the movie. The pop culturals. They're like they have like great these moments that they also put in this movie. The pop cultural stuff is even great, and just a lot of that stuff. It has something to do with the writing by Seth Rogen, who also produces it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's that part of the coming age references they're putting on, so that it could just be realistic. I mean, I haven't complained that it actually touched well. It makes sense to me.
Yeah,
So I gotta give props on that.
This movie, I wish I would have seen this movie in a more packed theater. I chose to go on at 10 p.m. on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday night.
It came out on Wednesday night, or it came out like early Tuesday. Like Tuesday was like the early showings, right? Because like August 2nd was the official. But yeah, I saw this movie. I was just bored around like 10:30 on Wednesday night. So I was like, I gotta watch this Ninja Turtles movie. So let's check it out. And there was only like me and like 4 other people in my screening because it's a family oriented movie. It was late at night on a weekday. I got it. But I mean, I had a good time. I don't see people like going into this like not having fun. I think the movie embeds itself with just so much fun, like youthful energy that it's really hard to just. It has its heart in the right place, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, totally. So I did went to see it's like so. As you're up listening this episode on the Monday, if you are, I went to see it Sunday, and totally obviously love to watch with a crowd of people. So I went there around like 3:50, and good a dozen amount of crowds, and yeah, they were laughing. Some kids though were next to me on the far left, and almost like I don't know. I'm just saying it's the appeal of the young crowds, you know. It's just perfect for that. So pretty much it, and
Were
you
they
know,
ruining the movie for you?
nah, they weren't. They weren't. Almost at the least, but it wasn't that much, honestly.
Sure.
But it's what you expect when you go to these movies like this. You're gonna be sitting with these young kids, and it could be almost like wanting to, I don't know, leave the movie or want to get snacks. I don't know. It's just, it's the epitome of like movies like this, like Puss in Boots. You know, it could be the same probability to TMNT, Spider Verse, etc., etc. You know, it's just like that. So overall, most of the people enjoyed it regardless. I liked it, so it's definitely my cup of tea right there.
Yeah, we'd both definitely recommend it.
Oh, totally.
I wonder, I know you don't do spoilers, but I'm wondering if maybe towards the end we could, when we fully given our thoughts, if we could talk a couple.
We'll talk about it off screen, bro.
Okay.
We'll talk about it off the air, so that's for sure. I was like, yes, okay, but let's not go into this.
Sure.
I want to go over the voice cast because there's a dozen amount of good ones and recognizable, some new ones, but you know, Seth Rogen's one of them for sure. But I like to read off the cast real quick. So you got, let's see, Micah Abbey, Shaman Brown Jr., Nicholas Cantu, Brady Noon. They all voice the Turtles. Very great talents. But you got a dozen of others. You got Ayo Edbury, Maya Rudolph, John Cena, Seth Rogen, Rose Byrne, Natasha Dimitriou, Giancarlo Esposito, Jackie Chan, Ice Cube, Paul Rudd. It's Post Malone in the movie. I go by Austin Post, just to let you all know. And yeah, you just got a dozen, a few casts. It's like, wow, it's so much cast in the movie to recognize and which one to voice. But I think we should touch one guy who actually sorry. I did watch your review, and you are the pack perspective, but I want to touch one guy. It's Ice Cube.
Absolutely.
Wow, he's great. This guy doesn't disappoint every time. If you all don't know who Ice Cube, but I'm sure everyone knows who Ice Cube is. 22 Jump Street is all you need to know. What else? What others has he been? Oh, Ride Along, right? He also did Ride Along.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on the screen for like almost 30 years. Like his breakout roles were like the Friday movies, back in the day. But like even as like a young kid when I wasn't old enough to watch Friday, like I loved him in like Are We There Yet? Like he did this.
Oh yeah, I did see that a while ago.
Are We There Yet? And then he made a sequel to that where he's like a family man. Are We Done Yet? And I thought both those movies were really funny. Those are great family movies. So he's great. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm surprised in this movie to voice, but he yet fulfilled his own destiny. Like good, I gotta say.
He doesn't do a lot of voice work to my knowledge.
Very much. Let's see. Paul Rudd, surprisingly, I thought he's a great addition. Does a good job. And the Turtles, like I said, the voice oh my god, I just keep forgetting names. It's Abby, Micah. It's
Micah Abbey. Yeah.
Michael Abbey, Shaman Brown, Nicholas Cantu, Brady Noon. Yeah, they all did a great job. It's Leo, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Leonardo. They all respectively. They did a great job. I can't say anything.
Shout out Paul Rudd because he like as Mondo Gecko because I didn't even know it was him until the credits rolled.
Me too.
I thought it was as Gecko. I thought it was Jason Schwartzman who did like the spot most recently in Spider-Verse. The voice and the cadence, like how he was speaking and everything. I thought that was him, but it was Paul Rudd. That surprised me. He got a good amount of laughs from me. But yeah,
oh, totally.
The Turtles.
Totally.
The Turtles were great.
Yeah, they were great. I wish Maya Rudolph had like more representation. I feel like she's also a great touch to her too. I thought the way she sounds was different. So whenever you hear Maya Rudolph's voice before, she sounds different. But that's because the way voice acting works. So you'll actually recognize who she is when you like look at the name and the character she plays. It's that.
Sometimes the actor will just like disappear into their role, and they're.
Oh, John Cena also did the same, so he'll sound very different than that. Yeah, that's what I just noticed.
Yeah, he did. He did absolutely. He's Bebop, I think. John Cena.
No, he plays Rocksteady.
Or he was
Seth Rogen, aka
Seth Rogen
Donkey.
was-
Seth Rogen, aka Donkey Kong, voice Bebop. Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about Seth Rogen though. What a funny man. What a great, incredible comedian himself. Super bad. He wrote all these comedies and everything. Did he also Get Him to the Greek also?
He did.
Oh, love that movie for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but yeah,
so was also in that.
He was great. I mean, sorry, Seth Rogen is just one gut dude. Everything.
I was gonna mention just how I like to say "in his bag." That's a phrase I can't stop using lately. But,
hey,
he's just on a roll when it comes to his producer. Like his producer credits recently, like this, he helped produce this. TMNT Mutant Mayhem. He helped produce The Boys. The Boys is one of my favorite shows currently airing.
Oh, he did. No way.
The Boys, and he helped produce Invincible too, which is like incredible. Like
this guy's incredible. He's like a comedian and comic book fanatic, dude. That's what this guy is. I think, and the fact he voiced Donkey Kong, it's even bigger on his profile resume. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. He's definitely the butts in the seat star for sure. What the BO Boys can actually, in case you don't know what the BO Boys is, the box office dudes, check them out. And the listeners, check them out. They're becoming a rising stars at this point. The BO Boys always be BOs. Anyways, I just can't say enough. Seth Rogen, good on him. Good on him for this movie. And and the fact is, so just real quick, and I'm sure people even saw this movie if they are listening right now, but he did a message at the beginning before the movie started. Did you even see that message?
I did, yes.
Yeah, I just knew the facts. I just knew the fact because it's a Paramount movie that they have been putting these messages recently. Like, they just know they handle these movies with care. That's what I like about these messages. It's just great. I just thought there would not be one, but there is one because, heck, they just made this movie with care. So
yeah, when they just thank the audience for supporting the movie and things like that. It's a nice personal touch for sure.
It's a personal touch. I love it. So, man, it's almost every... Oh, yeah, so I think we should get into this kind of topic about the TMT series. So, what does the TMT stuff mean to you, basically?
To me, personally, I said this in my review, I don't necessarily consider myself, like, a super fan, or a diehard, rather, but I love the franchise. Like, from a really young age, it's been just kind of a steady, like a stagnant franchise that just keeps popping up, keeps entertaining me. From the 90s movie with the Jim Henson puppets with the costumes and stuff like that to the 2003 series is one of my favorite cartoons ever. And then like the TMNT movie in 2007, for example, like those are my favorites overall.
Yeah, the series has grown well with the youngers, like us. I'm 23. I don't know what age you are exactly.
I'm 24, so we're in that.
We're a year apart, so that's cool. I think the 2003 TV show and the movie itself with 2007 did touch a lot, and I think the TV show though grew on me more. I even had a backpack of it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So it means a lot. It seems a lot. This is a notable IP, and for the new generations into 2010s to 2020s, this is a generation you're never too late to get into. And I think going to TMNT is like one thing you should get into when you have downtime. So it's just great.
Have you watched the newer stuff? Like there was a
Nickelodeon. Like the Nickelodeon one. I did. It's not the best. I can't say. It's just nowhere near as like superior, to be honest. I mean, not to disrespect the Nickelodeon stuff, but they handled the movie very good. I mean, Paramount Pictures did well with this movie, so I can't complain the fact.
Yeah.
So I'm not a huge fanatic, but I do love the franchise for sure. I like everything about the Turtles pretty much, from the ninja swords to the size to the staff to the nunchucks to the pizza parties. It's just Turtles. Here's one thing. Here's one thing you should owe to the listeners. I mean, to the people listening, do yourself a favor and just order yourself pizza almost every time you're hungry, because you'll be seeing yourself watching Turtles, and I think that's one way to get yourself to like a comfort zone. And trust me, I think I'm gonna start doing that sometimes if I wanted to. I feel like it's a good thing. I should probably get to having pizza. Like, what pizza would you even want, to be honest?
Pepperoni and sausage.
Barbecue chicken for me, dude.
Hey, that's up there also. I like
man,
Alfredo pizza.
Oh my god.
For me too.
It's just great. I mean, having pizza just reminds me of being a turtle. It feels like that, and that's what the one thing whoever did this concept of the turtles, it's just a great concept. It feels like every time pizza are all around the go. It's just great.
Yeah, grabbing a pizza and watching the new Ninja Turtles movie, especially when it comes out like digitally and physically, that'll definitely be a vibe. This is a really fun. I think it'll be pretty rewatchable.
Oh yeah, I think I'm rewatching again if this comes around. I don't think I won't watch it at a theater because okay, so just to give away what I'm watching next to the listeners, I have Blue Beetle, I have Gran Turismo, and then etc. going on to fall. Well, fall's the weakest lineup yet again going on, so it's not going to be big than what anticipatedly I wanted.
Gran Turismo.
So just so real quick to the new listeners, or anyone listening or watching this, Gran Turismo has been pushed back a couple weeks to August 25th. I'm like, bro, but there's a reason, obviously. So I want to touch base real quick because I will be touching on base on this episode. I mean, I will be touching base on this show, on my show, I Screen, You Screen for Movies. There's a strike going on with Hollywood's actors and writers. So actors can't promote their movies, and what did Sony did? They not only moved Kraven the Hunter back to a year, shift around movies, and definitely delayed Beyond the Spider-Verse for parent reasons, but they moved back Gran Turismo because how do you have to have promotions to this movie? And there hasn't been promotions all around from like TV, from like guest celebrities to heck, even like I don't know. So what Sony's trying to do? They are gonna really release this movie on the week, but like in limited screenings to promote this movie to audience, to have audience spread the word. And I was going to at this point, but there's not convenient times for me to go, so I'm gonna be waiting for the release to come. I'm actually planning to go with a friend of mine, so I'm actually anticipating for that movie of this month and of the year. So actually, not number one, but top 10 of the like anticipated films. Sure, I thought it looks great.
I've watched that trailer so many times, dude. Every time I saw
the trailer of it during the previews of Turtles. I'm like, yes.
Every single time I go to the movies in the last like 2 months, I swear to you that trailer is playing. Like I could probably recite the trailer. Like,
and I'll tell you this: Neil Blomkamp is back. I want to not sleep one bit in this guy. I know he's coming up downhill with a couple films, but I don't want to go off rail this whole Turtles review. But I'm saying is just to promote the idea of what's coming on in my show. Blue Beetle Gran Turismo is coming on my show. I'm sorry. I'm doing these reviews on my show. I'm bad at explaining this.
It's fine. I feel like I saw a announcement about Gran Turismo being pushed back, but I totally forgot. So, I mean, August, besides Gran Turismo and Blue Beetle, August is looking pretty barren. So
it's like last August. It's pretty much the same like that.
It was good to have something to rewatch. If you haven't.
In this case, if anyone loves the Turtles, go rewatch them. Go support this movie to the fullest again. So we will tell you this right now for sure. I think this is the movie you all want to give a fuck about. Is going and seeing those Turtles. Whatever it doesn't appeal in your fanships of your younger age or not, you're never too late to see this movie for sure.
It's true.
All right. Well, I think that's so much everything we cover. Is there anything else you want to touch base on Turtles or anything?
Yeah. I mean, just further shout out how much they nailed like the interactions between them. Just like I don't know if we've seen a version that like fully captures what being a young teenager is like than this iteration of
I can feel that going back to my teenage. I wish I was back in my teenage years and just like either taking some things back or just relive the moment, but not like forever, but like in a time machine. At least go back once in a while and all that.
They're having so much fun. Like they're still in that like growing pains phase where like not everything has hit them at once, but like they just capturing that brotherhood within being that age. It was really fun to see, honestly.
I totally agree. Oh yeah, so before we do, I meant to touch about the strike. How do you feel about the strike going on and everything? I forgot to ask you that question.
Yeah, so like the writers and actors strike, I think it's something that's been a long time coming. The more I've looked into it, just writers, actors, background actors, I think there's like a very common misconception that it's about like the big celebrities and stuff like that. It's really not. It's about the working man's actors. It's about the blue collar actors that are just like in the backgrounds or have smaller roles and stuff like that, and just how they barely earn enough to qualify for health insurance, living in an expensive town like LA or New York, I hope it just goes well, that the negotiations between the studios goes well, and that they get paid fairly. Both the
Honestly,
writers
well, the writers they had a writers meeting and that didn't go well. So obviously, I knew that was coming. That it wasn't going to work. I mean,
yeah,
bunch of fools, I swear.
yeah, just
I
like give
just,
up one of your yachts.
I swear. I mean, I want this whole thing to be over because if they push Dune next year, I'm gonna cry to my knees so hard.
Oh,
You have
dude,
no
we
idea.
need Dune, because like
We need fucking Dune.
without Dune, like the rest of the year is just like, what do I even look
Exactly.
forward
It's
to?
like I might not go to the movies for the rest of the fall until Dune comes, or
What
you
are
know
we
what?
gonna
Maybe
watch?
just to wait next
Wonka?
year. Yeah,
Are we gonna watch
Wonka,
Wonka?
Aquaman. Are we
I'm
gonna
not
even
watching
watch?
Aquaman,
Look,
bro.
oh my god, I'm not watching Aquaman either. I told myself I'm not going to because what's the point? The Flash was supposed to be the end of DCEU shit.
The Flash
DCEU shit. I
fucking
mean,
sucked, dude. That movie is-
I like the movie. I had a friend of mine who was on my show. He liked the movie also, but we both agree it's not the greatest superhero movie,
It's
which is
not
the
the
reason
greatest
why it flopped pretty bad.
Oh
Let's just be
no,
real
I,
on
I
that.
think part of it flopped because Ezra Miller's a menace IRL.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But anyway, that's way off topic. Yeah, hopefully Dune stays in its release date. And hopefully the rest of the. I did
Yeah.
hear that went back to the negotiating table with the writers on Friday, I believe.
Last Friday, yeah. And
Yeah,
then didn't
it
work
didn't
out
go
in their
well.
hands. Nope.
Yeah. You know how much, this is something people don't know. You know how much the writers, because the WGA, the Writers Guild of America, they went on strike first before SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah, before the actors to get involved because
So,
the AI thing goes on too as well.
exactly. You know how much the writers are asking for in their demands, like for the strike to end, the writer's strike? $450 million.
450
mil.
I think because
For
the
all the
insurance and
writers
everything
in
goes
Hollywood.
around. I mean, goodness.
That's nothing for a studio exec. You know how much the Indiana Jones movie this summer
It costs a lot because
300 million.
and that was because they shot in COVID, and it happens with Mission Impossible. The budgets went up badly because of COVID. They shot a lot of these movies during that time where protocols and all takes place. It, of course, adds to the budget like that. That's why Indy, Fast X, and Mission Impossible all have their budgets inflated. I mean,
yeah, but what I'm saying is 450 for the strike to be over. Like, and this isn't just like a strike, a campaign against one studio. This is the AMPTP. Like, this is all the studios, all the Paramounts, the Disneys, the Warner Brothers, like the Universals. This is everyone. They are asking all those studios for just $450 million to pay their writers to end the strike. And they're still not even getting that. That is nothing for all these studios. Like, they could end this if they respected their writers, if they respected their actors, they could end this strike. Like, I think it's just greed. I think it's just corporate greed. The only reason the strike is still going. That's
just being greedy right now, I swear. I just hope they turn around and just really decides to finally turn us around with the strike going on. Because at this point,
they can't make anything without the writers. They can't shoot anything without the actors. So, like, what are we doing here? Why
we're back to COVID times again. That's for sure. I mean, we don't want to witness that shit again. Goodness gracious.
Honestly, it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. All right, yeah. I think that covers a lot on the strike, on the progress so far. I'll likely keep touching base on this whatever possible, but other than that, I think that's everything. Is there anything else we should discuss on for this episode?
I think that's about it. Hopefully the strike gets resolved sooner rather than later, because we're gonna get like so many just announcements of this movie's pushed back, this movie's delayed. It's not gonna be great for the consumer. It's gonna be even worse for the studios because they're losing money, and it's gonna be worse for the actors and writers because they're not able to make money. So, like, everyone's losing right now.
Everyone's clearly losing. The only way it's the studios to finally turn things around. That's the only way. It's just like it's the one major problem. It's the studios. That's
actors, it. Pay your writers.
Pay them.
Yes.
Pay the fuck them. Pay the fuck out of them.
Amen.
Make them if you have to. Amen. All right. Well, before we get crazy on this, thank you for being on my show, Pascal or Pac. Thank you so much. Yeah. I can't wait to touch base on you, whatever possible. But where can they find you before we get off the air?
You can find me on YouTube. Pac's Perspective is the name of my channel. And you can find me on Twitter as well at pack_reviews. That's where
and I will leave those in descriptions for people to check you out. So thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Of course, and everyone, like I said, Blue Beetle, Gran Turismo is coming up on my episodes, so be on the horizon if you're new listening. Actually, speaking of that, I want to touch base real quick on one of my episodes, my Oppenheimer review. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how the fuck, but on my Apple, at least, my Apple podcasts, my Oppenheimer episode blew up. And it became my number one listen played episode of I Screen, You Screen for Movies.
Podcast.
So I don't know who these people are, but they didn't even leave me 5 stars, which I'm going to tell you, if you're those people that are listening to my show again, please leave me a 5-star review on Apple.
5-star review.
Or if you're listening to whatever episodes like Oppenheimer outside of Apple, and if you have an Apple device, go on Apple Podcasts, find my show, I Screen, You Screen for Movies, and leave me a 5-star review. It doesn't take that long. And honestly, I want to say thank you for those that supported a huge ton. That episode even passed my Top Gun review as most played and listened. So Oppenheimer is like my biggest episode on the horizon. So
Congrats,
I want to give a big shout out to like many people who listened to this episode all around the world. It's insane. So I could have been some more thankful for that. But honestly,
huge congrats on that.
Thank you. Also, Oppenheimer is a great movie. Also, totally recommended.
Such a great movie.
All right. Well, anyways, so like I said, leave me a 5-star review if you're enjoying this episode and the show. And also to the Oppenheimer listeners, I hope you are enjoying this episode if you are coming back to listen to the show. And whatever you're listening on, follow and subscribe if you're enjoying the show. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok. They'll both be in the show notes of my description, especially on YouTube. I'm on YouTube, so if you're a podcast listener, gotta subscribe to the YouTube channel. So please go support the cause by subscribing, smashing that like button, leaving your comments. And also hit the bell on YouTube. That would really help to alert you guys when the episodes drop. And you can look at Pac and me and I, the podcasters. And email me. My email's open at deskamlaji@gmail.com if you guys want to share your thoughts on the strike, the Turtles movie, etc. You know, I'm all ears and all eyes to see what you guys want to say. So email me if anything. And yeah, I think that does it. I don't think there isn't left to say, except